They accused me of being, what shall I say, ecumenical with the truth. But you know I refute that. I was looking through some papers, attitudinal studies, audience research, propensity to buy, that sort of thing, when I came across the recent Talk Radio UK media pack. As I read about their national coverage, their commitment to thought-provoking, challenging, relevant, distinct programming that advertisers would give their right teeth for, I saw the light and I turned it on. It's all about seeds, really, some would say. If you'd like to sow an idea on radio, talk to the sales department on 0171 636 1089. Talk Radio UK. You've never heard talk like it.
Now then, you're right, Billboard here, and there are some sad folk in this world, isn't there? Like young Martin Postlethwaite, who counted the number of cat's eyes on the B6144 between Batley and Bradford. You never know when it might come up as a quiz question, said he. Martin, says I, with the patience of the man who taught Job, it would only come up in a quiz if you set the questions as you're the only beggar what knows the answer. And there's the poor devil what spent some waking moment proving this. Over a 1 week period, 57% of all Britain's businessmen read the Times, the FT or the Daily Telegraph. But during that same week, 59% of them listen to commercial radio. It gets worse. The same person found out that over a 4 week period, 69% read the papers, whereas 70% listened to commercial radio. To conclude, both weekly and monthly, commercial radio gets to more businessmen than the Times, the FT and the Telegraph put together. Now, why couldn't he just have said that?
You're listening to Talk Radio UK.
This is The Rude Awakening. My name's Moz D.
And my name's Carol McGiffin.
You got it right this time.
I got it.
You did. 10:53 and 10:89. Broadcasting right across England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and anybody else that can pick us up. Talking about one-night stands.
Or sex on the first date.
Sex on the first date. You've had an experience, I'm sure, with it.
Oh, I have, actually, yeah. I mean, it's a sort of relationship and it's still going. And it's Bob, actually. You know Bob. I've told you about Bob, haven't I?
Yeah, but I don't think you've told everybody else about Bob.
Well, I can't tell you too much about Bob. All I can tell you is I picked him up.
This was a relationship you had, Carol, was it? Yeah.
Well, it's a relationship. It's still going.
Nearly over.
It's still going, actually. It'll probably go forever.
Yeah, as long as the batteries keep charged up. That's all. Hello, Kate.
Hello.
Hello, Kate in London, right? We're talking about one-night stands. You're a woman, Kate. Tell us about it.
I am a woman. Yes. no mistaking that. Well, basically, I just wanted to say that I actually have no problem with one-night stands.
Really, truly, honestly, desperately, truly?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can just go out with a bloke and sleep with him, and the next morning you don't want to sleep with him again, you don't care?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Does that make you feel powerful, Kate?
Well, no, not really, because I don't really use it as a power game, you know. But if you're kind of out of a relationship for a long time, you know, there are times when you just feel as if you've got to get it, really.
Yeah.
And I just think, you know, as long as you're careful and you're not
you have to be careful.
You do have to be careful, you know, and I mean, I have no problem with seeing the guy again, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to sleep with him.
Are they always strangers, or are they people that you know? I mean, do you actually go out and pick people up in bars and things like that?
No, I mean, I don't make a habit of doing that, no, but I have done it a couple of times.
How does this work out, then? Give us a scenario that this has occurred in.
Well, I mean, neither time, actually, have I gone out thinking I want to get laid tonight. But basically,
if you do, you do, and it's great, and
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, both times that I have actually gone home with blokes that I've never seen before. You know, I've had a bit to drink, but I haven't been drunk.
You've known what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you actually tell them that, as far as you're concerned, this is a one-night stand?
No, but I make no attempts at getting in touch with them again.
You see, this is the point I was trying to make, Kate. That actually, it's something you don't have to state, is it?
No.
You've met in a bar, you have had a few drinks,
yeah.
You're getting a bit randy, you have sex. You don't have to state that this isn't a relationship.
No.
You don't have to state that you might not see each other again. I think it's something that's taken us really.
No,
use our
I
common
still
sense,
disagree. I think, Kate is unusual, and Kate can handle it, and she knows what she's doing, and she is careful, as she said.
Yeah,
but I still think a lot of women get stuck with men on one-night stands, and they think there's going to be more in it, and they're the women that I get writing to me week after week, and that's the agony. I mean, I don't hear the good things like Kate, because you haven't got the problem. You're out there, and you're being careful.
Yeah.
Kate, how old are you?
I am 27.
27. 27. There's an anomaly here as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because if you talk to men who go out and get one-night stands, they'll talk about it to their mates or whatever, and they're something of a stud, something of a superstar, or in the corner of a bar.
Yeah.
Women, however, are seen as, yeah, basically.
They are.
Loose women.
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you go and tell your mates about it and stuff like that?
Occasionally, yeah. Yeah, occasionally. I mean, I must say the only thing about it is that I tend to get fairly scathing about men.
Yeah.
You know, because you just think, well, I mean, it's not fair that men are seen as studs and I could be seen as a slut just because I do it, but I'm careful.
Do you
And
Sorry, do you normally go back to their place or do they go back to yours? Because I'd prefer to go back to theirs because at least you can leave in the morning when you want to, and you don't have to try and get rid of them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So yeah, go back to their place and leave the next day.
Absolutely, Kate. You can come back to my place anytime you fancy. I'll make sure my mum and dad's out first, though, because it gets a bit embarrassing. Kate, thanks very much indeed for your call.
Thank
Very
you. Love
interesting.
yourself.
Good woman.
Cheers, mate. 0345 1053 89. You listening to the conversation. What do you think? The pros and cons of sleeping with somebody on a stranger even. A one-night stand, that's what we're talking about.
Sex on the first date.
Yeah, here's a question for listeners. If you're a man, how much would you expect to spend on... Perhaps you're going out tonight, perhaps you're looking for it. Do you expect to spend a certain amount? If you have a very expensive meal, you buy that piece of jewellery, are you looking for something? Is that why you're doing it? Or are you giving a gift for a gift's sake? And do women actually get put under pressure with that? Do you get, you know, if I were to take you out, right, which is highly unlikely, and spend an absolute fortune on you...
It's not highly unlikely, it's just
true, right?
definitely
Because
not.
definitely it's skin, generally. I have to buy the beer. But what would happen? Do you feel under pressure when a man lavishes gifts on you?
No, because I wouldn't put up with it, you see. I mean, if a bloke was going to take me out on a date, which I probably would never... I don't like dates. And he said, right, we're going to go... go to the Dorchester for dinner or the Ritz or somewhere really expensive.
Yeah, you start
and we're
to
going
feel
to go
uncomfortable,
casino.
don't you?
Of course, because you would think, oh, he's going to expect something for all this, and so I wouldn't put up with it. I would say, no, bugger off, buy me half a lager and a packet of fags, and I might have a bit of a snog later, and that's it. I wouldn't put up with it. No.
Because you feel that by doing that, the man is doing something. He's being manipulative.
In a way,
he's being manipulative.
in a way, you do feel like you're sort of obligated to deliver something. You know, deliver some sort of passion
you
to
don't
them
feel
because
you
know
have
what they
to,
expect.
but you know they expect it, and it just puts that horrible sort of feeling on the whole
a
day.
feeling of guilt as well at the end of it when you say, right, thanks very much, bye.
Yeah, and have you ever had that when you've been waiting for the car to stop so you can jump out as quickly as you possibly can because you don't want to snog them because the whole thing's become so loaded.
And in case they try and get out with you and you're dreading it and you're sitting there.
You keep the seatbelt on.
How am I going to get out this car without him coming with me? You know,
I'll tell you what.
It spoils it. So you just say, no, let's go for fish and chips and have a pint, and then you don't feel guilty.
Let's talk to Paul, who's in London. How are you, Paul?
Hello there, doing
Yeah,
fine,
talk to
doing
us, mate.
fine. Yes, I was basically pulled this wonderful, sexy blonde lady, and we had a marvellous evening, and we went back to, at the time, it's my parents' house, and all...
Were they in or out, mate?
They were in, they were upstairs.
Because there's nothing worse, is there, than trying to snog or do something when you know your parents are upstairs.
Yeah.
We've all been there. It's terrifying.
Very exciting.
Because they could come down at any point.
Oh, no,
at the
mine
wrong
didn't.
point, generally.
No, mine didn't.
Go on, Paul, sorry.
But anyway, so we went back, and suffice to say, all was offered to me on a plate, and I resisted temptation.
You resisted?
For the first date, the second date, and it was actually the...
Why?
Why,
Paul?
Were you, were you doing playing a bit of
What's
a
wrong
game
with you,
there?
Paul? What's wrong with you? Call yourself a man?
Playing a game? Were you playing a game?
I didn't want to be a one night, you see. I knew there was a future in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well, you knew from the first date that you were going to have a future with this woman.
I did. And then we went, and on the third night we had this wonderful
you're married and
encounter. And, we had a wonderful month together, and then she threw me out of her life.
Yeah.
And I
This
found
isn't
her
a suicide story, is it, Paul?
No, I found her again 6 months later.
Good.
And I wooed her, and we've been married for 12 years now.
Brilliant, fantastic.
And Carol knows we're into shiny things as well, so things are getting even better.
Who's that? Do I know you?
Yeah.
Who is it? Paul? Oh, Paul, yes.
It
Sorry.
is.
Yes,
Paul.
I do know Paul.
Yeah.
Not very well, but I do, I do
You
know.
know of us.
I do know of them, yeah.
And what are these shiny things?
They go to, like, these parties where you have to dress up in...
Oh, the leather gear.
Yeah.
Listen, hold
leather
on a
and
minute.
leather and stuff.
I don't want your mates phoning my show up.
I just know him from
For the party.
from a party.
Yes.
Right, off you go, Paul. Thanks very much indeed. There's Paul was saying he went out with a girl there. She was absolutely gagging for it, apparently, and he resisted for 3.
That story.
He resisted it for a long period of time. Do you think that sex then sometimes is worth waiting for?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, it is. It's
I mean,
much
'cause
better
sex
if you
the
wait
first
for it.
time, unless you're very, very lucky. It's not usually all that brilliant. And often because you have had too much to drink and it all goes sort of
Yeah.
rather hazy and too quickly. And when you work up to it, it's worth waiting because you've got all that anticipation. And also, when you take your time, it's better. You get it better.
And also, if you leave it a bit, you think about it a lot,
Yeah.
and it's so exciting. And when you actually do it, wow, I mean, you just explode. It's just fantastic.
And on the practical level, you go out and you do it on the first date. There's no time to talk about contraception or anything like that, or get condoms or whatever. And then I get them writing to me saying, well,
I should
we're
have
sleeping
used them,
together.
yeah.
I'm too embarrassed to say anything about contraception because we didn't talk about it at first. I can't really bring the subject up now.
I'll tell you what, I need a fag talking about this. Like, I really do. Could do with a smoke, can you?
Yeah, go and get 'em.
We'll get a fag. We'll get a fag in a minute.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
We are talking about... I know you would. We are talking about...